So I've talked about movies and shows forcing their own political agendas down our throats before, like in my video covering The Last of Us Season 2. In this video, I'm going to cover a few recent examples of studios doing this, as well as explain why I don't like it and how the culture war is affecting cinema and fandoms. I'm personally of the belief that movies should serve as an escape from the real world and real world politics and social issues. And that's not to say that they can't be done right. So I think that's why it bothers me so much and turns me and others like me off of movies and shows we'd otherwise like. I first want to give you guys some recent and some older examples of studios forcing their own political agendas to pander to a certain demographic. One of the recent ones that comes to mind immediately is the casting of Paapa Essiedu as Snape in the upcoming Amazon Prime Harry Potter series. Now, I want to make it clear that I have no issue with the actor and I hope he does a good job in the role. However, it does feel as though he was cast just to fulfill a diversity quota. He doesn't look anything like how J.K. Rowling describes the character in the book. In the book, she describes Snape as a thin man with a shallow complexion, a large hooked nose, and greasy shoulder-length black hair. His eyes are cold and black, and he wears long black robes. And while I'm sure Paapa Essiedu has the acting skills to pull off the presence of Snape, he just doesn't look anything like the character. Now, this isn't always a bad thing. In fact, I quite like the casting of Arabella Stanton as Hermione. Even though she doesn't look exactly like how the character is described in the books, she looks close enough to the character that it doesn't bother me and I can buy her as Hermione. Instead of feeling like they cast her to be diverse or fulfill a diversity quota, it feels like they cast her because she was the best actress for the role. Where in Paapa Essiedu, it feels like quite the opposite. Like they cast him only to push their political agenda of diversity. He doesn't look anything like the character, to where I'm not sure I'll be able to buy him as the character of Snape, especially following the incredible performance by Alan Rickman. Particularly where we see audiences up in arms accusing studios of whitewashing, I don't see how it's okay to do the opposite. Now, unless the actor mostly fits the role and has the acting chops and skills to be believable as the character, I don't think you should force diversity simply to pander to a certain group of your audience. At some point, I think you just have to act. In fact, I believe the Nostalgia Critic said it best, and I fully recommend you watch his full video. I'll leave a link to it down in the description, but here is some of what he had to say about this.
Big movies have just done previews, a trailer from Marvel's Doctor Strange, and a still from Paramount's remake of Ghost in the Shell. The internet flipped, as both films were accused of whitewashing. Which, for those who don't know, is when a person who's supposed to be of a certain ethnicity is suddenly played by a white person. In Ghost in the Shell's case, people were upset because Scarlett Johansson was playing what was originally an Asian character, and in Doctor Strange's case, a Tibetan man is now being portrayed as a Celtic woman, played by Tilda Swinton. This is a touchy subject that's making a lot of people feel enraged. Whitewashing is an art that, let's face it, white people have mastered bullshitting for years. Which is all the more reason to get upset. People can't believe that it's still going on. Is America, home to so many different cultures and races, still resorting to the same offensive tricks? Have things really gotten better, or have we just disguised our hypocrisy even more?
So, to summarize, I agree with most of what he just said there. This is America, and we deserve to see every possibility in characters. However, we shouldn't just be shoehorning actors of color only to push a societal political agenda or pander to a specific portion of their audience, alienating the rest. I don't want to see an actor get a role only because of the color of their skin. I want to see them cast because they're the best for the role. Look enough like the established character that it doesn't pull me out of it. And have the acting skills and just be generally convincing in the role. And that goes both ways. Other big recent examples of studios pushing a political agenda is The Acolyte and The Last of Us Season 2. I think a big reason we saw major pushback on these shows was because people are sick and tired of having LGBTQ agendas in our movies and shows. Not that anyone or myself has anything against people who are in the LGBTQ community. It's a fatigue of having those narratives force-fed to us in big spoonfuls. Now, I will say, if characters that within the LGBTQ community are handled correctly and in a way that actually services the story, a good example of this would be M. Night Shyamalan's movie A Knock at the Cabin, when they're not pushing it in your face going, look, see what good people we are? We're inclusive. Like us, please. Like they're gloating and virtue signaling. It can actually work to the benefit of the story if they stop doing that. Let's just take The Last of Us Part 2 as an example. While I personally do think that the game handled the relationship between Ellie and Dina pretty well actually, never shoving the relationship right into our faces in the most unnatural and forced way, keep in mind, I'm still not defending the relationship between Dina and Ellie. In the game, you could have just as easily had them be close friends and it wouldn't have changed the story at all. And if so, it barely would have made a difference. Whereas in season 2 of the show, they make it very clear that Ellie is gay, almost going to the lengths to make it one of her key components and personality of Ellie. I shouldn't have to even point this out, but Ellie is way more than just her sexuality. So even though I find the relationship between the two in the game pointless in the story, at least it was handled in a way that didn't feel like the game was trying to make it as though that's an important part of her. Now, don't get me started on Lev. Why in the world would a kid in a post-apocalyptic world where the modern world has been gone for more than 20 years, where they are in a constant struggle to survive a terrifying infection and warring factions, not only have enough time to contemplate their gender, but where would they have even ever heard of the idea of multiple genders? Given that the show's virus outbreak took place decades before transgenderism was ever a prominent ideal. It makes absolutely no sense. It was only put in there for the purpose of diversity and inclusivity, pandering and forcing a political agenda the creators align with. Now, this is very important, and I want to be extremely clear on this. I wouldn't care which side of the political aisle agendas were being shoehorned into movies, shows, and video games from. It would repulse me from that project no matter what. I don't go to the movies, watch TV shows, or play video games to be pandered to on my own beliefs or have the agenda of others force-fed to me. I enjoy these forms of entertainment to escape real-life problems, to have an escape from the increasingly more divided and polarized social politics of the real world, particularly in America. I'm constantly seeing people saying things like, why didn't anybody like this show? Or, if you didn't like the show, you must be a bigot. Or, everybody who doesn't like this is just a hater with no real criticisms. in particular to the shows like The Acolyte and The Last of Us Season 2. Wrong! We are absolutely sick and tired of being force-fed political views, whether they're ones we agree with or not. Because that's not why we go to the movies, watch TV shows, or play video games. Now, can movies and shows tackle these types of subjects in a tasteful and impactful way? Of course! Look at Darren Aronofsky's The Whale, Jordan Peele's Get Out, or M. Night Shyamalan's A Knock at the Cabin Door. All movies that had themes of race or sexuality that handled them well and didn't make us feel like we're watching a lecture. I love movies, and I do believe that some movies are appropriate for tackling such themes, but Star Wars is definitely not one. And don't be so heavy-handed with it either. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Feel free to disagree with me in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. If you disagree with something I said in this video, please tell me. I'd love to have the conversation. But please, everyone, keep it respectful and civil. Until next time, my name is McKeon Mole, and I am signing out.